When we pulled up to my mother-in-law's new mansion that Saturday afternoon, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. The house was enormous. White columns, perfectly manicured lawns, a circular driveway with a fountain in the center. There were cars everywhere. Expensive cars. Mercedes, BMWs, Range Rovers. People in designer clothes walking up the front steps, champagne glasses already in their hands. I looked down at my dress. A simple navy blue dress from Target. Nothing fancy. I'd worn my nicest shoes, black flats that were starting to show wear. My husband, Daniel, was in a suit. He looked handsome, but he also looked nervous. "Ready?" I asked, reaching for his hand. He pulled his hand away. "Actually, Hannah, we need to talk." My stomach dropped. "What's wrong?" He wouldn't look at me. "My mother. She asked me to tell you something." "Okay. What?" He took a deep breath. "She doesn't want you here." The words hit me like a slap. "What?" "She doesn't think you fit in. With her friends. With this crowd. She asked me to tell you to stay in the car while I go inside." I stared at him. At my husband of 3 years. The man who'd promised to love me. To stand by me. To protect me. And he was asking me to hide in the car like I was something to be ashamed of. "My name is Hannah Parker. Well, Hannah Worthington now. I'm 29 years old, and I grew up in a small town in Ohio. My parents were teachers. We didn't have much money, but we had love. We had family dinners around a worn kitchen table. We had camping trips instead of fancy vacations. We had everything that mattered. I met Daniel when I was 24. I was working as a waitress at a restaurant in Columbus. He came in one evening with some colleagues. He was polite, good-looking. He had dark hair, green eyes, and a smile that made me nervous in the best way. He left me a generous tip and his phone number on the receipt. I called him. We went on a date. Then another. Then another. He told me he worked in finance. That he came from a wealthy family but wanted to make his own way. He said his mother was complicated. But he didn't go into details. I didn't push. We fell in love quickly. He was kind, thoughtful. He'd bring me coffee on my morning shifts. He'd wait for me after work and take me to late-night diners. He made me feel special. Seen. 6 months later he proposed. It was simple. Just the two of us at a park overlooking the river. He got down on one knee and said, "You're the best thing that's ever happened to me. Will you marry me?" I said yes without hesitation. That's when I met his mother, Patricia Worthington. She lived in Connecticut in a large estate that had been in the family for generations. Daniel had grown up with money. Real money. The kind I'd only seen in movies. Our first meeting was awkward. Patricia was in her early 60s, perfectly dressed in a cream-colored pantsuit, her gray hair styled in an elegant bob. She looked at me the way you might look at something unpleasant on the bottom of your shoe. "So you're the waitress," she said. Not unkindly. Just stating a fact. "Yes, ma'am," I replied. "But I'm also taking online classes. I'm working toward a degree in education." She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. How ambitious. Daniel squeezed my hand. "Mom, Hannah is amazing. You'll see." But she never did see. Over the next 2 years, Patricia made it clear that I wasn't good enough for her son. She'd make comments about my clothes, my hair, my accent, the fact that I grew up poor. Nothing cruel. Just little digs that added up over time. "Daniel could have married a lawyer," she'd say. "Or a doctor. Someone with credentials. Daniel would defend me. I married the woman I love. That's all that matters." But I could see it wearing on him. The constant disapproval. The judgment. He started spending less time with his mother. We'd skip family holidays. Make excuses. It was easier than dealing with her. Then about 6 months ago, Patricia announced she was building a new house. A mansion. Something to celebrate her success, she said. She'd sold her late husband's company for millions and wanted a fresh start. A grand home where she could host parties and entertain her wealthy friends. Daniel was invited to every planning meeting, every design consultation. But I wasn't. When I asked if I could come along, Daniel would say, "It's boring stuff, Hannah. You don't need to be there." I didn't push it. I figured it was just his mother's way. Keep me at a distance. Pretend I didn't exist. But today was the mansion's grand opening. A huge party to show off the house to all of Patricia's friends. And Daniel had told me I was invited, that his mother wanted me there. I'd spent weeks worrying about what to wear, what to say, how to act around these people who had so much more than I did. But I told myself it would be okay. That Daniel would be by my side. That maybe, just maybe, this would be a fresh start with Patricia. Now, sitting in the car, hearing Daniel tell me his mother didn't want me there, I realized I'd been fooling myself. I sat in the passenger seat, staring at Daniel. You're serious? She doesn't want me at her party. He shifted uncomfortably. She thinks it would be easier for everyone if you just waited out here. Easier for who, Daniel? For her? Or for you? Hannah, please don't make this harder than it already is. Make what harder? You're asking me to sit in a car while your mother celebrates with all her friends. Like I'm not even part of this family. You are part of this family. Then why am I being treated like I'm not? Daniel ran his hand through his hair, a gesture he always did when he was stressed. My mother has her opinions. You know that. But this is her day. Her house. I don't want to cause a scene. So I should just accept being humiliated? You're not being humiliated. You're just staying in the car for a little while. I laughed. It was a bitter sound. Do you hear yourself? You're asking your wife to hide. Because your mother is embarrassed by me. She's not embarrassed. Yes, she is. She always has been. And you've never stood up to her. Not really. His jaw tightened. That's not fair. Isn't it? Daniel, every time your mother makes a comment about my background or my clothes or the fact that I didn't go to some fancy college, you just let it slide. You say you'll talk to her. But nothing changes. I do talk to her. She just doesn't listen. Then maybe you need to talk louder. He looked toward the mansion. People were still arriving, laughing, greeting each other with hugs and air kisses. Through the open front door, I could see marble floors and crystal chandeliers. I have to go in, Daniel said quietly. She's expecting me. And what about me? What am I supposed to do? Just wait here. I'll come check on you in a bit. A bit? How long is a bit, Daniel? I don't know. An hour? Maybe 2. 2 hours. He wanted me to sit in a car for 2 hours while he partied with his mother and her friends. I can't believe this, I whispered. He reached for my hand. I pulled away. Hannah, please. I'm stuck in the middle here. Between you and my mother. Can't you just compromise? Just this once. Compromise? You're not asking me to compromise. You're asking me to disappear. That's not what I'm doing. Yes, it is. And the worst part is that you don't even see it. Daniel looked at me. Really looked at me. For a moment I thought he might change his mind. That he might say, you're right. Let's go in together. Screw what my mother thinks. But he didn't. I'm sorry, he said. And then he got out of the car. I watched him walk up the driveway. Watched him shake hands with people at the door. Watched him disappear inside without looking back. I sat there alone, feeling smaller than I'd ever felt in my life. About 20 minutes later, a valet approached the car. He was young, maybe early 20s, wearing a crisp white shirt and black vest. Excuse me, ma'am. Are you here for the party? I hesitated. Yes. But I'm just waiting out here. He looked confused. You're not going inside? No. Not today. He glanced at the mansion, then back at me. Can I get you anything? Water? Something to eat? His kindness almost broke me. No, thank you. I'm fine. He nodded but didn't leave. For what it's worth, ma'am. Anyone who makes you wait outside doesn't deserve to have you inside. I looked up at him, surprised. He smiled gently and walked away. I sat there for another 30 minutes, watching people come and go, watching servers carry trays of champagne and appetizers, hearing laughter and music drifting from inside. And then I saw her, Patricia, standing in the front doorway, talking to a group of women in expensive dresses and pearls. She looked so happy, so proud, showing off her mansion, her success, her perfect life, a life I wasn't part of. Something inside me shifted, a spark of anger, of self-respect, of clarity. I wasn't going to sit in this car like a shameful secret. I wasn't going to let Patricia or Daniel make me feel less than I was. I got out of the car, smoothed my simple Target dress, and I walked up that driveway. The valet saw me coming. He gave me a small nod of approval. I reached the front door. Patricia was still talking to her friends. She glanced over and saw me. Her smile faltered. Her eyes widened. "Hannah," she said, her voice tight. "I thought Daniel told you." "He did," I interrupted. "He told me you didn't want me here. But you know what? I don't care." Her friends went silent, staring at me, at Patricia. "I'm Daniel's wife," I continued, my voice steady. "And whether you like it or not, I'm part of this family. So I'm going inside. And if you have a problem with that, you can tell me to my face instead of sending your son to do it for you." Patricia's face flushed. "How dare you? How dare I?" My voice was louder now. "How dare you treat me like I'm not good enough? Like I'm something to be hidden? I've been nothing but respectful to you. But I'm done accepting your cruelty." One of her friends whispered, "Patricia, maybe we should." "No," Patricia snapped. "This is my home, and I decide who is welcome here." "Then say it," I challenged. "Tell me to leave. Right here. In front of everyone." She stared at me. The silence stretched. People in the entryway were watching now, whispering, and then Daniel appeared. He pushed through the small crowd, his face pale. "Hannah, what are you doing?" "What am I doing? I'm standing up for myself. Something you should have done. We talked about this." "No, Daniel. You talked. You told me to hide. But I'm not hiding anymore." "Hannah, please. Let's just go." "Go where?" "Back to the car? So your mother doesn't have to look at the poor girl you married." Patricia stepped forward. "That's enough. Both of you. You're making a scene." "Good," I said. "Maybe it's time people saw what kind of person you really are." Patricia's face went red. She opened her mouth to say something, but before she could, an older woman stepped forward from the crowd. She was in her 70s, elegant in a silver dress, her white hair pulled back in a neat bun. "Patricia," the woman said calmly, "perhaps we should all take a breath." Patricia turned to her. "Eleanor, this doesn't concern you." "Actually, it does. I've known you for 30 years, and I've watched you treat people poorly before. But this," she gestured to me, "this is beneath even you." Patricia looked stunned. "Excuse me." Eleanor looked at me kindly. "What's your name, dear?" "Hannah. Hannah Worthington." "Well, Hannah, I'm Eleanor Carmichael. I've known Patricia since our children were in school together, and I've never been more disappointed in her than I am right now." Patricia's voice was icy. "Eleanor, I don't know what you think you're doing. I'm doing what someone should have done a long time ago. I'm calling you out." Eleanor turned to address the small crowd that had gathered. "This young woman is Patricia's daughter-in-law. She's family." And Patricia asked her to wait in the car, like hired help, because she's embarrassed by her. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. People looked at Patricia with surprise, some with disapproval. "That's not," Patricia stammered. "You're twisting this." "Am I?" Eleanor asked. "Then why don't you explain to all of us why your son's wife wasn't allowed at your party?" Patricia's mouth opened and closed. She looked around at her friends, at the guests, at the judgment in their eyes. Daniel stepped between us. "Okay, that's enough. Hannah, Mom, let's take this inside. Privately." "No," I said firmly. "I'm done with private conversations where nothing changes. Your mother needs to hear this. You need to hear this." I turned to Patricia. "I know I'm not what you wanted for Daniel. I'm not rich. I didn't go to an Ivy League school. My parents were teachers, not executives. But I love your son, and I've tried so hard to earn your respect, to be good enough. But nothing I do will ever be enough for you, will it?" Patricia's voice was cold. "You're right. You're not what I wanted for Daniel. I wanted someone who could match his social standing, someone who understood our world, someone who had money," I finished. "That's what you mean. You care more about bank accounts than character." "Money matters," Patricia said sharply. "It provides security, stability, opportunities. I provide those things too. I work hard. I'm getting my degree. I support Daniel. I love him. Love isn't enough." The words hung in the air. Daniel looked at his mother, shock on his face. Mom, you can't mean that. Of course I mean it. Daniel, you could have had anyone. And you chose her. Stop, Daniel said quietly. Just stop. I'm trying to protect you. No, you're not. You're trying to control me. And I've let you. For too long. Patricia's expression shifted. Uncertain now. Daniel. Hannah is my wife. She's kind, intelligent, hardworking. She's everything I could want. And if you can't see that, if you can't treat her with basic respect, then I don't want to be here. You don't mean that. I do. He turned to me. Hannah, I'm so sorry. I should never have asked you to stay in the car. I should never have put my mother's feelings above yours. That was wrong. And I'm ashamed. Tears filled my eyes. Daniel. No, let me finish. I've been a coward. I've let my mother make you feel less than you are because I was too afraid to stand up to her. But I'm done. If she can't accept you, then she can't have me in her life either. He took my hand. Let's go. Daniel, wait. Patricia reached for him. He pulled away. I love you, Mom. But I love my wife more. And I'm not going to choose between you anymore. I'm choosing her. I should have chosen her from the start. We turned and walked down the driveway together. Behind us, I heard Patricia call out, Daniel, please. But he didn't turn back. We got into the car. Daniel started the engine. His hands were shaking. Are you okay? I asked. No. But I will be. We drove in silence for a few minutes. Then he pulled over to the side of the road. He put the car in park and turned to me. I'm sorry, he said, his voice breaking. I'm so sorry, Hannah. For today. For every day I've let her treat you badly. For not protecting you the way a husband should. Daniel. I was scared. Scared of losing her. Scared of her disapproval. But in trying not to lose her, I almost lost you. And you're the one who matters. You're the one I chose to build a life with. I reached over and took his hand. I love you. But I need you to promise me something. Anything. No more hiding. No more asking me to make myself smaller so other people are comfortable. We're a team. We face things together. I promise. I swear. He leaned over and kissed me. It was gentle, apologetic, full of love. What do we do now? I asked. We go home. We figure it out. Together. What about your mother? He was quiet for a moment. I don't know. Maybe she'll come around. Maybe she won't. But that's her choice. Not ours. We drove home to our small apartment. It wasn't a mansion. It didn't have marble floors or crystal chandeliers. But it was ours. And it was filled with love. The days that followed were hard. Daniel didn't hear from his mother. No calls. No texts. Nothing. I could see it weighing on him. He'd check his phone constantly. Stare at it like he was willing it to ring. You should call her, I said one evening as we sat on our couch eating takeout. He shook his head. She's the one who needs to apologize. Not me. I know. But she's still your mother. And I can see this is killing you. She hurt you, Hannah. She tried to humiliate you. I can't just pretend that's okay. I'm not asking you to pretend. But maybe you could reach out. Let her know the door isn't completely closed. He looked at me. After everything she did, you'd be okay with that? I'd be okay with you having a relationship with your mother. As long as she respects me. Respects us. He set down his food and pulled me close. How are you so good? I'm not good. I'm just realistic. Cutting her out completely might feel right now. But you might regret it later. And I don't want you to resent me for that. 3 weeks after the party, Daniel finally called his mother. I sat next to him on the couch, holding his free hand as he dialed. Patricia answered on the third ring. Daniel. Hi, Mom. There was a pause. I didn't think I'd hear from you. I almost didn't call. But Hannah convinced me to. Another pause. She did. Yeah. She said you're still my mother. And that matters. Patricia's voice was quieter now. I've been thinking. About what happened. About what you said. And I was wrong. Not about everything. But about some things. It wasn't the apology I'd hoped for. But it was something. Mom, I need you to understand something. Hannah is my wife. She's not going anywhere. And if you want to be part of my life, you have to accept her. Not just tolerate her. Actually accept her. That's difficult for me. I know, but it's non-negotiable. Patricia sighed. Can I speak to her? To Hannah. Daniel looked at me. I nodded. He handed me the phone. Hello, Patricia, I said, my voice steady. Hannah, I owe you an apology. I waited. Let her say it. I was cruel to you. At the party and before that. I let my own prejudices and expectations cloud my judgment. You didn't deserve that. No, I didn't. You're right. And I'm sorry. Truly. It wasn't perfect. But it was real. I could hear the discomfort in her voice. This wasn't easy for her. And that made it more genuine. Thank you for saying that, I replied. I'd like to try again. If you're willing. Maybe we could have dinner? Just the three of us. I looked at Daniel. He was watching me. Hopeful but uncertain. We can do that, I said. But there have to be ground rules. Such as no comments about my background, my clothes, my education. No comparing me to other women you wish Daniel had married. We start fresh. Clean slate. There was a long pause. Then, agreed. And if you slip up, if you say something hurtful, I'm going to call you out. Right then and there. No more staying quiet to keep the peace. I understand. Okay then. We can have dinner. We met Patricia 2 weeks later at a quiet restaurant in Hartford. Nothing fancy. A family-owned Italian place with red checkered tablecloths and candles in wine bottles. Patricia arrived in slacks and a simple blouse. Not her usual designer outfits. She was trying. I could see that. Dinner was awkward at first. Stiff conversation. Long pauses. But slowly it got easier. Patricia asked me about my classes. About my job. She actually listened to my answers. She told us about her childhood. About growing up with a father who valued money above everything else. About marrying Daniel's father because it was a good match, even though she didn't love him at first. I learned to love him eventually, she said. But it took years. And by then, I'd become so focused on status and appearance that I forgot what really mattered. What do you think really matters? I asked. She looked at Daniel. Family. Love. Loyalty. The things I almost threw away. It wasn't a perfect dinner. Patricia still made one comment about my dress being casual, before catching herself and apologizing. But it was progress. Real messy imperfect progress. Over the next few months things continued to improve. Patricia invited us to her mansion for lunch. This time, I walked through the front door with Daniel by my side. She gave me a tour. Showed me the library and the garden. Asked my opinion on decorating choices. She still wasn't warm. Not like my own mother had been. But she was respectful. Kind even. And that was enough. One afternoon, while Daniel was outside talking to Patricia's gardener, she and I sat in her living room drinking tea. Can I ask you something? She said. Of course. Why did you give me another chance? After how I treated you? I thought about it. Because everyone deserves a chance to change. And because holding on to anger only hurts me. You're the one who has to live with what you did. I don't need to carry that weight too. She nodded slowly. You're stronger than I gave you credit for. And you're more capable of change than I expected. She smiled. A real smile this time. We make quite a pair, don't we? I guess we do. It wasn't a fairy tale ending. Patricia and I didn't become best friends. We didn't have the close mother-daughter relationship I'd once hoped for. But we found something better. We found respect, understanding, a willingness to try. And that was more than I ever thought we'd have. It's been 2 years now since that awful day at Patricia's mansion opening. 2 years since Daniel told me to wait in the car. 2 years since I found my voice and refused to be treated as less than I was. Daniel and I are stronger than ever. We bought a small house last year. Nothing fancy. A cozy 2-bedroom in a quiet neighborhood. We painted the walls ourselves. Built a garden in the backyard. Made it ours. Patricia visits sometimes. She brings flowers. She compliments my cooking. She asks about my work. I finished my degree, and I'm teaching now at a local elementary school. She's proud of me, I think, though she'd never say it quite that way. Last month was my 30th birthday. Daniel threw me a small party at our house. My family came, some friends from work, and Patricia. She pulled me aside during the party, away from the others. I have something for you, she said, handing me a wrapped box. Inside was a beautiful necklace. Simple, elegant, and clearly expensive. Patricia, this is too much. It was my mother's, she interrupted. She gave it to me when I got married, and I want you to have it. I looked up at her, surprised. Are you sure? You're family, Hannah, and family looks out for each other, even when they don't always see eye to eye. I hugged her. She stiffened at first. Physical affection didn't come naturally to her. But then she hugged me back. Briefly, awkwardly, but genuinely. Thank you, I whispered. No, thank you for not giving up on Daniel or on me. That evening, after everyone had gone home, Daniel and I sat on our back porch. The sun was setting. The air was cool. Everything was quiet and peaceful. Happy birthday, he said, kissing my forehead. Best one yet, I replied. I'm sorry it took so long to get here. To this place where we're all okay. It's okay. Good things take time. He took my hand. I learned something through all of this. I learned that protecting the people you love means standing up for them, even when it's hard, even when it costs you something. You did stand up for me when it mattered. I should have done it sooner, but you did it. That's what counts. We sat in comfortable silence for a while. Then Daniel spoke again. My mom asked me something the other day. What? She asked if we were thinking about having kids. I looked at him, surprised. What did you say? I said that's between you and me, and when we're ready, we'll let her know. I smiled. Good answer. But are we thinking about it? I thought about our little house, our garden, the life we built together. Maybe someday, when the time is right. I think you'd be an amazing mother. And I think your mother would be a surprisingly good grandmother. He laughed. Yeah, she might actually be. The thing I learned through all of this is simple but important. You teach people how to treat you. For too long, I'd accepted Patricia's cruelty because I thought I had to, because I thought making waves would only make things worse. But standing up for myself, refusing to hide in that car, changed everything. It forced Patricia to see me, really see me, not as the poor girl who married her son, but as a person, someone worthy of respect. It also showed Daniel that I wasn't going to accept being treated as less than, that our marriage had to be a partnership, that he needed to choose me not just in words but in actions. And he did choose me. When it mattered most, he chose me. If you're in a situation where someone is making you feel small, whether it's a family member, a partner, a friend, I want you to know something. You don't have to accept it. You don't have to stay quiet to keep the peace. You don't have to make yourself smaller so other people can feel bigger. Your voice matters. Your feelings matter. You matter. Standing up for yourself might be uncomfortable. It might cause conflict. It might change relationships. But it's worth it. Because living your life trying to please people who don't respect you isn't really living at all. Daniel and I are building something real now. Something honest. Something based on mutual respect and love. And Patricia, slowly but surely, is learning to be part of that. She'll never be perfect. Neither will I. Neither will Daniel. But we're all trying. And that's what family is, really. People who keep trying. Who choose each other. Who refuse to give up. I still have that navy blue Target dress. The one I wore to the mansion opening. I can't bring myself to throw it away. It reminds me of who I was that day. Scared. Uncertain. Willing to hide. And it reminds me of who I became. Someone who stood up. Who spoke out. Who refused to be invisible. I'm Hannah Worthington. I'm a teacher, a wife, and someday I'll be a mother. I'm not rich. I don't come from money. But I come from love. And I've learned that love, real love, is worth more than any mansion could ever be.